Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. How to identify some of the red flags of a narcissist or psychopath. A lot of people, once they've gotten involved with these types of people, they really wish they could have seen it coming. They really wish that they had done something earlier on. They really wish that they weren't duped, deceived, lied to, taken advantage of, exploited, gaslighted, and brainwashed. They really wish that they hadn't given up so much of their time, their love, their life, their affection, their care to these people, their money, exposed them to their families. They really wish that this had never occurred, and it's a big life lesson for them. And so one of the goals of this channel is I really hope to provide you a way to identify some red flags or keys and clues to identify these types of people. Although they are very adept at manipulating people and creating a guise or a mask to deter their detection, honestly and truly, they really have quite a crafty and talented way of putting together a facade. The nice guy, the nice girl, the caregiver, they can really develop a mask or a persona really to fit a situation and a person. And the psychopath is very adept at doing this. I mean, for example, if you like to talk about politics and that's really important to you, I mean, you can sure bet that the psychopath will do some reading, studying, and pick up discussions very quickly with you on politics. Likewise with the narcissist. If the narcissist or psychopath feels that you are a romantic type, they will definitely do their best to charm you, wine you, dine you, sweep you off of your feet, call you nicknames, be very flirtatious with you, get you to cross a lot of boundaries in a lot of tantalizing ways. If the narcissist kind of pegs you as someone who's interested in like the ecology and the environment and going green and protection of natural resources, you can sure bet that the narcissist will create a mask and a discussion to fit right into your type of interests and core values so that they can slide in to be like one of you. Psychopath also, to even greater degree, involving quite a bit more lying and some very destructive sort of behaviors and pitting people against others. They can be very destructive, but once they get kind of under your skin, so to speak, they are able to manipulate you, control you, and kind of work their mask for them to get what they want, which is generally power. I mean, it's just generally that's what it is in a variety of different settings. So how can you identify this? How come we couldn't have seen it coming? How come it wasn't so obvious? How come they didn't just wear a sign on their head that said, I'm going to take advantage of you, I'm going to exploit you for this, that, and the other thing, and I'm going to exploit your family, and I'm going to ruin your reputation at work, and I'm going to try to destroy you in your community, and I'm going to make you wish you didn't live on this block anymore. I mean, they really will go to some extremes, and we really wish we could have identified this and never had to deal with it in the first place. It can be very, very harsh and lonely to deal with. So, and oftentimes I feel that unless people have really dealt with this type of personality, you don't really know the depth of the manipulation, exploitation that they bring. So that's why I really try to, provide that here so that you can realize that we've been there in your shoes. We've felt the fear that you have. We've felt the disgust. We've felt the horror. We've felt the sickness. And we know that you can actually get through it. So that's the really positive thing on this channel, is you absolutely positively can get to the other side of it with tools that we utilize here. And one of the things are like, what are some of the red flags? Well, one, if you find that especially a member of the opposite sex is coming on to you way too strong, way too fast, speaking very quickly, making a lot of contacts and discussion with you, does not let you get a word in edgewise, is very into a lot of your personal information, very strange things. I mean, like how many miles do you have on your car? How's your credit? You know, when is your lease up on your place? You know, when are you moving? When does your this and that start? I mean, they want to know all these details right away. They're like compiling almost like a database on you. I mean, it's really bizarre. So if you find that they're coming on very quickly, this is a very good red flag, and just do not be afraid. I think a lot of people, they feel like a deer in a headlight. And they're like, well, I don't want to offend this guy. Like, well, these are the miles on my car, or this is my credit report, or this is what I make a year, or this is where my family grew up, or, you know, sure, I can go out to lunch, sure, I can give you a hug, you know, and I've only met you for 10 minutes. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to be very careful, because these guys will swindle you with a smile. They will, you know, cajole you with a kiss. They'll really F you up with their flirting. They will really, really go to, you know, at first it seems all in good fun, and it seems very innocent, and it seems very playful. So a lot of that, what's of concern to me, is that it seems very playful. It seems very, you know, kind of like, wow, you know, this is the kind of person that I've wanted. Like this, they really lighten up the atmosphere, or they're really funny, or, you know, they really seem to be intelligent about such and such. And yet you find that they're really just kind of profiling you, which seems harsh, but it is true. These people are not like your average person, which just kind of go and try to meet people in the office and do these things. They really do kind of create a profile on you, your interests, your weak spots, and then they, you know, when you're vulnerable, this is where they get in and they go strong. They're like, oh, I know this one, you know, and then they just start going. And so it's like almost like they keep this like library of different people who they've taken advantage of, and then they are able to basically go into that file, boom, I know what to do here, and then they just, you know, keep going. So, you know, the red flags can be, you know, and especially when you're around them, if you feel like you can't get a word in edgewise, or you feel like, you know, you have to kind of make yourself meek to be with them. If you're dealing with an overt narcissist, they can come on very strong, very charming, very alluring. You're like, God, this guy's a knight in shining armor, or this woman is the bomb. Like, she is my warrior princess. Like this, she's like so unusual. She's so strong. You know, and she's so together on this, or she's so hyper this, or high energy there, or, you know, super sexual, whatever the thing that they're using to allure you. You know, she's a dynamic lawyer, you know, a powwow, you know, sort of manager, whatever the really kind of outward and showy people you have to be very careful of. The people who put up the big numbers, you know, a lot of big numbers, people in business, you have to be very careful. Yes, there's a lot of great, talented people, but be very aware of the people who put up the big numbers. And if you're in business, you know what I'm talking about. If you're in sports, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've dealt with conniving family members, you know what I'm talking about. The people who are, you know, eyeing your stuff and, you know, trying to get in the will. You know, if it's your family member, they're already trying to claim, you know, half the property, and, you know, the family, you know, is decades away from passing on. I mean, they're still young, and they're like prematurely trying to get, you know, favoritism in the family to get their belongings and try to, you know, exploit you and your weak side. So you got to be very careful, because these people can be in our family as well. A lot of the sweet talking, you know, coming on too fast, the charming, where you feel like really excited about them in the beginning. And so if you find that you're like really excited about somebody in the beginning, take it slow, take it down a notch, pull back a little bit. Even if you feel like excited and rushing into it, it would be natural. You know, you feel like you want to dive in. What do they say? Take the nesty plunge. You just want to dive in and go. You're like, this is my natural reaction. your natural reaction is not gonna, you gotta be careful, because a lot of people's natural reactions are what got them involved with the narcissist or psychopath in the first place. And it was all, you know, in love and, you know, and positivity that I think a lot of people got duped. You know, naivete, being green. You know, we can't be so green. We have to be a little bit more forthright and cautious, especially, and now, you know, today's world, you have to be very careful. Be very careful about going to people's houses too quickly, you know, but especially when you feel like super excited around people, you know, right away, be very careful. Do not be afraid to speak up and say, I'm not going to share that information with you. You know, I think we're going a little too fast. Why are you asking this to me? You know, don't be afraid to change up your communication style with these people and suss them out a little bit. Gain your composure, gain your foothold, gain some perspective and your boundaries. Definitely keep up a guard, you know, with these people, and keep your a sense of boundaries up, and you set the pace of the relationship, male or female. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share, please subscribe for more great tools, videos, and discussions, and look out for those red flags.